You may have heard the term chosen one tossed around in movies, legends, and myths. But do you truly understand what it means to be chosen by a higher power? This is not just some grand tale or random fate. To be a chosen one is to be selected for a purpose greater than oneself. It is a sacred responsibility, a calling that transcends the ordinary, destined to shape not just your life, but the lives of countless others. This title is not one that is handed out freely. It is a divine selection, reserved for those whom God has set apart for something monumental. The chosen one isn't just someone who stumbles upon greatness. They are called, chosen for a divine mission that could change the very fabric of reality itself. Think of the great figures in history and scripture: Abraham, Moses, David, each called to fulfill a purpose they could never have imagined until that moment arrived. But why you? Why now, you might ask? This isn't a story of random fate, but a moment of profound significance. God doesn't choose lightly. He chooses those who have the strength, the heart, and the unwavering faith to answer a call that could shake the heavens. This is not about power or wealth. It is about destiny. This is your moment. God has chosen you, and the time for action is right now. And now, you are being called to see this alone. Why alone? Why not share it with others, you may wonder? The truth is, certain revelations are too powerful to be shared with everyone. They require personal reflection, undistracted focus, and the courage to embrace a truth that might challenge everything you thought you knew about yourself. To truly understand the weight of the calling, you must be alone, in your own mind, in your own heart, to receive it fully. This isn't just a casual message, it's a divine revelation that will transform your life, your purpose, and your destiny. Not everyone can bear this truth at once. And here's where the urgency comes in. Right now, this moment is not just another passing second. It is a divine window of opportunity that will not remain open forever. God speaks to those who are ready, those who are awake, aware, and willing to listen. This is not a time for hesitation or second guessing. The call is clear, and it's now. Don't waste this moment. The question is not whether the message will come, but whether you will be ready to hear it, understand it, and act on it when it does. Will you heed the call, or will you let it pass by? This is a divine moment, a crossroads in your life that has been set by the heavens, and it's calling you to take the next step. Right now, your destiny is waiting, and only you can decide how it unfolds. The concept of the chosen one stretches across centuries, transcending the boundaries of culture, religion, and myth. It's a term that has been spoken in countless stories and sacred texts, one that carries with it both mystery and reverence. To understand what it truly means to be the chosen one, we must first recognize the deep significance this figure holds in different traditions and belief systems around the world. Whether it is a divine figure, a warrior, or a humble person thrust into extraordinary circumstances, the chosen one represents a person who is selected for something far greater than themselves, a purpose that can change the course of history, or even the fate of the world. In religious traditions, the idea of the chosen one is central. In Christianity, Jesus Christ is the embodiment of the chosen one. He was sent into the world to offer salvation, to bridge the gap between humanity and God, fulfilling a prophecy that had been long foretold. Jesus' mission, marked by suffering, death, and resurrection, was the ultimate demonstration of divine purpose and the impact one person can have on the world. Similarly, in Judaism, Moses is regarded as the chosen one who led the Israelites out of slavery, fulfilling a covenant made between God and his people. Moses' ability to stand in front of Pharaoh, delivering God's commandments, marked the beginning of a new era for the Israelites and the world. Likewise, in Islam, the Prophet Muhammad is considered the final chosen one, sent to deliver the final message from God to humanity. These religious figures were all chosen because they were divinely appointed to fulfill a role that could not be undertaken by anyone else. In addition to the great religious figures, the Chosen One also appears prominently in mythological stories. In Greek mythology, Hercules is considered one of the most famous chosen ones, born of both divine and mortal parents, tasked with completing 12 impossible labors to atone for his sins. The gods chose him because of his strength and tenacity, pushing him through challenges that tested his character, will, and ability to overcome obstacles. In Arthurian legend, King Arthur is the epitome of the chosen one. Only the one worthy would be able to pull the sword Excalibur from the stone, a feat that marked him as the true king. Arthur, despite being an unknown child of humble origins, was destined to unite the land of Britain and lead it to greatness. His journey from an uncertain youth to the legendary king was a perfect reflection of the transformation that the chosen one undergoes. Someone who is initially unaware of their destiny, but grows into their role through trials, challenges, and self-discovery. In these stories and others, the chosen one often faces tremendous adversity. They are never selected because of their ease of life or abundance of talent. On the contrary, the chosen one is often someone who has suffered, who has faced hardship, and who is seemingly unremarkable to those around them. They are chosen not because they are already great, but because they have the potential to become something greater. It is through their trials that they will rise to their true calling, often reluctant at first, questioning their worthiness for the task ahead. Yet it is in these very trials that they are shaped into the individuals capable of fulfilling their purpose. But how is the chosen one selected? It is never a random choice. It is a divine selection, guided by a force far greater than human comprehension. This force, whether you call it God, fate, destiny, or the universe, chooses the individual who is not just capable of great things, but someone who is willing to rise above their own weaknesses, to embrace their true calling, and to walk a path that others may fear. The selection process is a matter of timing, of readiness, and of potential. The chosen one may not even recognize their purpose at first, but it becomes clear over time that they are being prepared for a great mission, one that they cannot turn away from. This preparation may come in the form of suffering, hardship, or even failure, but each challenge is meant to forge them into the person they are destined to become. What makes the chosen one so unique is the qualities they possess. They are marked by resilience, the ability to stand firm in the face of adversity and not bend under pressure. They are also marked by selflessness, the willingness to sacrifice their own needs, desires, and comfort for the greater good. They understand that their journey is not just for themselves, but for the world around them. They are visionaries, able to see beyond the limitations of their present moment and grasp a truth that others cannot yet perceive. Courage is another defining trait of the chosen one. They face the unknown with boldness, trusting in a higher power even when the path is unclear. They take risks that others would not dare to take, knowing that their destiny is worth the uncertainty. Yet, even with all of these qualities, the chosen one is often filled with doubt. They question their worthiness and their ability to carry out the divine plan laid out before them. This is part of the journey, the transformation that the chosen one undergoes. They are not born with all the answers, nor are they born with all the strength they need. It is through the challenges, failures, and the internal struggle that they grow into the person capable of fulfilling their mission. It is in overcoming these doubts and fears that they are shaped into the instrument of change that the world needs. In the end, the chosen one is not just a hero. They are the catalyst for change. Their existence is meant to push the boundaries of what is possible, to make the impossible real, and to inspire others to believe in the divine possibilities of their own lives. They are the answer to a world in need of transformation, and it is through them that the world will be changed. But remember, being chosen is not about personal gain or glory. It is about fulfilling a purpose that stretches far beyond the individual, one that can alter the very course of human history. The chosen one doesn't seek greatness. Greatness seeks them. because they are the ones who are capable of answering the call. The voice of God. It is a concept that transcends every culture, religion, and spiritual belief, reaching across millennia and resonating with profound impact. It is not merely the sound of divine speech, but the powerful communication of the Creator to humanity, offering guidance, instructions, and sometimes warnings. Across history, the voice of God has been experienced in many ways, as a voice in the wilderness, as a whisper on the wind, or as thunderous proclamations that shook the very earth. In every instance, God's words have been delivered with purpose and authority, shaping the paths of individuals and entire nations.
The ways in which divine messages are delivered vary greatly, but the underlying truth is the same. God's voice holds the power to alter the course of human destiny. In Christianity, the voice of God has been experienced in numerous ways. From the burning bush that spoke to Moses, telling him to free the Israelites from slavery, to the voice of God declaring Jesus as his beloved Son during the baptism of Christ, the divine voice is clear and unmistakable. One of the most significant moments of divine revelation is the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus, in the presence of the masses, proclaimed profound teachings that have shaped the moral and ethical framework of the Christian faith. He who has ears, let him hear. In these instances, God's voice wasn't merely heard, but felt deeply in the hearts of those who received it, urging them to act in accordance with divine will. In Judaism, God's voice speaks with authority throughout the scriptures, whether it's the command to Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac, which would later be stopped by God, or the giving of the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai. The experience of hearing God's voice in these contexts is not just a moment of spiritual awakening, but also a profound act of obedience and faith. When God speaks in the Hebrew Bible, it is not a suggestion, it is a command, a decree that calls for a response, and often a life-altering one. For the people of Israel, hearing God's voice is both a moment of grace and a test of faith, a chance to align their will with the divine plan. In Islam, the voice of God is delivered through the Prophet Muhammad via the angel Gabriel. The Quran, considered the ultimate expression of God's words, was revealed to Muhammad over a period of 23 years. This revelation, brought through the divine voice, was not a one-time occurrence but a continual communication, teaching mankind the will of God. Each verse in the Quran carries a weight of divine authority, calling believers to follow a path of righteousness, justice, and compassion. The voice of God, as conveyed through the Quran, is not just a historical relic, but a living testament to God's continuous guidance for humanity, echoing through the ages with an eternal call to heed divine law. Other belief systems, like Hinduism, also feature divine voices that guide humanity. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks to the warrior Arjuna, delivering profound lessons on duty, righteousness, and devotion. Arjuna, struggling with his place in the battle, is guided by Krishna's words, which resonate with deep spiritual truths that speak to the human condition. Krishna's voice, divine and unyielding, calls Arjuna to embrace his dharma, his duty as a warrior, to fulfill the purpose laid out for him. Krishna's voice offers clarity and purpose in times of confusion, showing how God's words bring peace amidst turmoil. But the voice of God is not always a loud or dramatic event. Sometimes it comes in the form of a quiet whisper, a gentle nudge in the heart, or an undeniable feeling of clarity in times of need. In Buddhism, the teachings of the Buddha are often seen as divinely inspired, guiding followers toward enlightenment. The Buddha's teachings, though not directly the voice of a deity, are seen as a form of divine wisdom transmitted to humanity to show the path to liberation from suffering. In these instances, the voice of God, or divine wisdom, is heard through teachings that resonate with the heart and mind of the seeker, guiding them toward higher understanding.
While these divine communications vary in form and expression, they all share a common thread. They carry authority and a deep sense of weight. When God speaks, it is not a mere suggestion or passing thought. His words are final, shaping destinies, steering nations, and calling individuals to act. The authority of God's words is beyond question. It demands obedience, reflection, and, above all, action. From the ancient prophets to modern-day revelations, God's voice compels humanity to make choices that will reverberate through history. When an individual hears the voice of God, they are being asked to take a step of faith, to respond to the call with the belief that what is being said has eternal significance. Throughout history, there have been countless examples of individuals who, upon hearing the voice of God, made decisions that changed their lives and the world. When Jonah was called to preach in Nineveh, he initially resisted, running from God's command. But when he heard the divine message, he was forced to face his destiny, and his obedience led to the salvation of a city. The Apostle Paul, on his journey to Damascus, was struck blind by a divine light and heard the voice of Jesus, who asked, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" This moment of divine intervention led to his conversion, and Paul became one of the most influential figures in the spread of Christianity. The weight of God's words is also seen in more modern contexts. Many people, throughout history, have heard God's voice in times of crisis, in moments of despair, or in the quiet of their hearts, urging them to make life-changing decisions. These messages may come as a whisper or a roar, but their impact is always the same. They call us to align ourselves with a greater purpose, to act with love and compassion, to stand for what is right, and to live with integrity. The voice of God, though it may take many forms, always carries the power to change hearts, guide lives, and inspire action that can reverberate throughout history. When God speaks, He is not merely giving instructions, He is shaping the course of human history, calling us to choose, to align our actions with His will, to be vessels for His message, and to act with the authority that His words carry. It is not just about hearing the message, but about responding to it in obedience and faith. To hear God's voice is to feel His presence, to know that we are part of a greater plan, and to understand that we have been chosen to carry out a divine mission that is uniquely ours to fulfill. See this alone. These three simple words may seem unremarkable at first glance, but they carry profound significance, especially when it comes to understanding the journey of the chosen one. This call to see and experience a divine revelation alone is not merely a request, it's a command that echoes through the corridors of spiritual history, urging individuals to stand in solitude, to face the divine truth in its rawest, most personal form. To experience a message alone is to take on the mantle of responsibility, to embrace the solitude that often accompanies true revelation. Throughout history, we see that the most profound moments of divine communication are often delivered to individuals alone. Whether it was Moses standing alone on Mount Sinai, receiving the 10 Commandments, or the Apostle Paul receiving his vision of Christ on the road to Damascus, these messages were not meant for a crowd. They were meant for one person, someone whose heart was ready to hear, to understand, and to act. This solitary nature of divine revelation speaks volumes about the personal relationship one must have with the divine. It's not about a group experience or shared understanding. It's about the individual's journey toward truth and transformation. The significance of receiving a message alone is deeply tied to introspection and the process of spiritual awakening. When a person hears a divine message in the solitude of their own heart, it creates an intimate connection with the message itself. It is no longer a concept or a group belief, but a personal calling that resonates with the very core of one's being. In moments of solitude, away from distractions, the heart and mind become more attuned to the divine voice. This is the moment when one can fully understand the weight and importance of the message being given, without external influence or pressure.
The clarity that comes from this solitary encounter is unmatched. There are no outside voices competing for attention, no worldly concerns clouding the truth. In this stillness, the soul can hear clearly and receive the revelation in its purest form. The idea of introspection is at the heart of this process. To truly see what God wants you to understand, you must first look inward. You must be willing to confront your own fears, doubts, and limitations. The chosen one is not merely called to greatness. They are called to a journey of self-discovery, where they must reckon with their inner self in order to embrace their divine mission. It's not enough to receive the message. One must internalize it, process it, and integrate it into their being. This requires a level of vulnerability and openness that can only be achieved in solitude. Alone, the individual can strip away the layers of ego, pride, and societal expectations, leaving only the truth of their calling. This is where transformation begins, not in the presence of others, but in the quiet space where the soul meets the divine. Why is it that some messages are meant for the individual and not the group? The answer lies in the uniqueness of the chosen one's path. Each person's journey is different, and the divine purpose they are called to fulfill is uniquely theirs. When God speaks, He speaks to the individual soul, addressing the needs, strengths, weaknesses, and potential of that particular person. A message delivered to a group may be diluted, altered by differing perceptions, or lost in the noise of collective voices. But when a message is delivered to one person alone, it becomes personal, a direct line of communication between the divine and the individual. Consider the story of Abraham in the Bible. When God called him to leave his homeland and journey to an unknown land, it wasn't a message that was given to his entire tribe. It was given to him alone. This was a task that only Abraham could undertake, and only he could understand the depth of the sacrifice and the obedience required. No one else could walk in his shoes, and no one else could fulfill his specific mission. The message was clear. It was for him, and him alone. Likewise, when Jesus withdrew into the wilderness for 40 days, he was not surrounded by a crowd, but alone in solitude. In this isolation, he could commune directly with his Father, receiving guidance and strength for the monumental task ahead. His journey was a personal one, meant for no one else to walk. It was a private revelation, a call to fulfill a divine mission that would transform the world. The solitary nature of this journey also provides a chance for the individual to embrace their divine calling without fear of judgment or misunderstanding from others. In a group, there is often the pressure to conform, to fit into a collective mold, and to conform to the expectations of those around you. But when God speaks to you alone, it's an opportunity to listen without distractions, to follow a path that might be misunderstood by others, and to act in ways that may seem radical or even lonely. This solitude offers freedom from the opinions of others, freedom to step into a divine mission that may defy logic or convention. The divine message comes with its own authority, and it's up to the individual to accept it, even when others may not understand. One of the greatest gifts of experiencing a message alone is that it allows the individual to take full ownership of their journey. The chosen one's path is not one that can be followed blindly by others. It is a deeply personal and transformative experience. Only the one who is called can truly understand the cost, the sacrifice, and the glory of walking that path. The clarity and responsibility that come with this solitary experience shape the individual in ways that a group experience never could. It is in this solitude that the chosen one is truly transformed, able to rise to the occasion and carry the weight of their divine mission with courage and grace. In this sense, solitude becomes a blessing, not a curse. While others may see it as a place of loneliness or isolation, the chosen one understands that it is a sacred space where they can receive the fullness of God's message, free from distraction or dilution. It is where they are forged, where they are prepared to step into the role they were born to play. And when they emerge from that solitude, they do so with a clarity of purpose and a strength that no group experience could have ever provided. This is why some messages are meant to be received alone. It is the only way to fully embrace them and walk the path that has been set before them. Right now. These two words echo with divine urgency, a powerful call that transcends time and space. The concept of right now in the spiritual journey is not just a passing thought. It is a moment saturated with significance. It is a reminder that the present is not to be taken lightly, for in the present moment lies the opportunity to act, to change, and to fulfill a destiny that has been waiting for you. The chosen one is not someone who procrastinates. They are called to recognize the divine moment that demands action now. Every moment has its purpose, and timing is everything in the divine plan. The time is now, or it may be too late.
In the grand tapestry of life, there are times when the universe, God, or fate creates a window, an opening where everything aligns perfectly for a specific purpose. These moments, when recognized and acted upon, can transform lives. But the timing is crucial. The sense of immediacy in spiritual and life-changing events is one of the most profound aspects of human existence. These moments don't last forever. They come like waves on the shore, arriving with intensity and often leaving just as quickly. The right now moment is the time when everything you've been waiting for, everything you've been prepared for, converges. To miss it is to miss your calling. To hesitate is to question the very forces that have been guiding your path, and there may not be another chance. In spiritual journeys, the importance of acting in the present moment cannot be overstated. When God speaks, He does so with a timing that is perfect. There is no waiting for the right time, no more waiting for conditions to be ideal. The time is now. In the Bible, when the Israelites were led out of Egypt by Moses, they did not have the luxury of waiting for the perfect moment. They were called to act, and their obedience to the timing of God's will was what brought them freedom. When Jesus called His disciples, they didn't hesitate. They dropped everything and followed Him immediately. There was no second guessing, no waiting for the right moment to come around again. The right moment was in front of them, and they seized it with faith. This urgency is also a central theme in the lives of those who have experienced a profound shift or awakening. The immediacy of recognizing a life-changing opportunity or a divine calling can't be underestimated. Think of the countless individuals who have heard a call at a crossroads in their lives, whether in their careers, relationships, or spiritual journeys. The decision they made in that moment changed everything. It was a split-second decision that led to their transformation. When faced with an opportunity to step into a divine calling, there is no room for hesitation. Whether it is to make amends with someone, start a new chapter, or stand up for what is right, acting now is the only option. Delays can lead to missed opportunities, and once the moment has passed, it may never return in the same way again. Why does timing matter so much? Because the present moment is the only moment you have control over. The past is gone and the future is uncertain, but the present is where change happens. It's the right now that holds the key to your destiny. God's will for your life is not something you can simply put off or wait to discover later. You are called to act now because the work that God has set before you is urgent. It is not something to be delayed or left for another day. In the grand scheme of divine destiny, waiting is often a form of disobedience, an unwillingness to trust that God's plan is unfolding in real time, in the now. Destiny does not operate in the future. It is a force that is woven into the fabric of the present moment. If you are waiting for things to align perfectly, you may be waiting forever. The perfect moment is always elusive because destiny is activated through action, not passive waiting. Urgency is deeply connected to fate and destiny. If you look at the lives of those who are remembered as great leaders, heroes, or spiritual figures, they didn't wait for the perfect moment to arrive. They understood that timing is part of the divine design. When the chosen one acts in the right now, they are stepping into the flow of divine will,
aligning themselves with something far greater than their personal plans. In the Book of Esther, Queen Esther is told that she has been placed in her royal position for such a time as this. Had she hesitated, the fate of the Jewish people may have been sealed. It was in that critical moment, in that right now, that she had the opportunity to act and save her people. Her obedience to the moment shaped the course of history. Similarly, throughout history, individuals who have been pivotal to change have understood the urgency of their moments. Martin Luther King Jr., in his famous "I Have a Dream" speech, spoke with the urgency of the present moment, calling for change not in some distant future, but now. His words rallied a movement, and his actions became the catalyst for a larger societal shift. Every great figure who has impacted history has had their right now moment, when the divine call aligned with their readiness to act. So why is the right now so important? Because the present moment is where your destiny is written. The decisions you make today, in this moment, ripple into your future. The path of the chosen one is not something that unfolds over time with ease. It is a path marked by urgency. The divine plan has been set in motion, and the time to act is now. Your destiny is waiting for your response, for your decision to step forward in faith and courage. You are called to act, not later, not someday, but today. The window of opportunity is before you, and if you choose to wait, it may close, leaving you wondering what might have been. In the words of the Bible, "For now is the time of God's favor. Now is the day of salvation." 2 Corinthians 6:2. It is a reminder that divine moments are fleeting, and the timing of God's will is never arbitrary. When God speaks, it is the right now that matters. Are you ready to seize this moment, or will you let it pass by? The path to your divine destiny begins in this very moment. Will you step forward and act? The choice is yours, but the time is now. The path of the chosen one is one marked by divine selection, personal transformation, and an unwavering commitment to fulfill a higher calling. From the moment of their selection, they are thrust into a journey that requires courage, introspection, and obedience. It is not a path of ease, but one that demands resilience and a deep connection with the divine. The message they carry is not simply for their own benefit. It is meant to touch the lives of many, bringing about change, healing, and sometimes even a transformation of entire societies. The weight of this calling is immense, but it is also an honor that few will ever truly understand. The chosen one is a vessel through which God's will is made manifest in the world. Their path is not just a personal journey, but a global or even cosmic mission that resonates with the very fabric of the universe. At the heart of this journey lies the importance of the message they carry. This message is not just a series of words or instructions. It is the divine revelation that has been entrusted to them. It is a truth that transcends time, a wisdom that has the power to shape lives, shift destinies, and restore balance. The message is meant to be seen, understood, and lived, for it is in the living of the message that the chosen one will fulfill their purpose. It is not enough to simply receive the message. They must carry it into the world and bring it to life through their actions, their choices, and their devotion. And in doing so, they inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that transforms all who encounter the truth they share. Divine guidance is not something that is always easily understood, nor is it always straightforward. Yet it is in following the divine guidance that individuals are able to make choices that align with their true purpose. In moments of uncertainty or crisis, it is God's voice that guides the chosen one forward, providing clarity, direction, and strength. Each decision they make, no matter how small or significant, is shaped by the divine will they have accepted. And through this obedience to divine guidance, they find themselves stepping further into the fulfillment of their mission. The power of divine guidance is that it leads to purposeful action.
When individuals trust in this guidance, they are able to make choices that transcend mere logic, choosing the path that is in alignment with the greater plan, even when the road is difficult or unclear. Equally important in this journey is the ability to focus on the present moment. The divine will is often revealed in the present, in the now. In a world filled with distractions and uncertainty, the chosen one must learn to center themselves, to be fully present in each moment. It is in these moments of stillness, when the noise of the world fades away, that divine guidance can be heard most clearly. When they focus on the now, they align themselves with the divine flow of life, able to take each step with intention and purpose. By living fully in the present, the chosen one remains in tune with the divine will, ready to respond to the call when it comes, no matter the cost. The importance of this focus cannot be overstated. Without it, the chosen one risks missing the subtle yet powerful moments of revelation that shape their journey. Only by remaining present can they fulfill their mission and step into the fullness of their purpose. Ultimately, the responsibility of the chosen one is both personal and universal. The message they carry is meant for them, but it is also meant for the world. It is a responsibility that cannot be ignored, for it is tied to the very fabric of their existence. To see the message alone is to accept the profound responsibility of the calling, to receive the divine guidance in its purest form, and to recognize that this moment is not to be shared with the masses, but instead to be lived out by the individual. This is a path of singular purpose, one that demands not only action, but understanding. To understand the message fully, the chosen one must be willing to stand alone, to embrace the solitude that comes with divine revelation, and to trust that their journey will lead them to a place of fulfillment and purpose. There is strength in solitude, for it is in those solitary moments that the chosen one becomes fully aware of the depth of their calling. In the end, the journey of the chosen one is one of divine purpose, individual growth, and global transformation. Their message, their choices, and their actions will leave an indelible mark on the world. The responsibility to carry that message is immense, but it is also a privilege that few are chosen to bear. As they walk their path, guided by divine wisdom and empowered by faith, they become the living embodiment of God's will on earth. And in doing so, they not only change the world, they change themselves, becoming the person they were always meant to be. The chosen one stands as a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of divine guidance, and a reminder that the path to greatness begins with understanding the message and walking the road alone, in obedience and faith.